Here we are at the tackle shop on Soy Siam. Just going to grab a bit of bait. This is it's a handy little shop. Provides animal feed, gas bottles, bit of fishing gear, bait and stuff. So it's handy just for picking up a couple of odds and ends, and mainly just your bait. So go in and have a look. Right. Have a look at this down. You're gonna love this. Dangerous down behind the camera.
Wow.
There. We've got some worms here.
Wow.
So we might have a crack. We might get some of them, especially for the match tomorrow. Wow. Some worms. Got your bread vibes here. You got oh, that one's broken. That's why that one's not up there. So you got your different sort of types of bread ground bait, different flavours. You got your tilapia ground bait. This one's supposed to have some tinfoil barb on it. Then you got your paste mixes, Pro V1, good little brand. Obviously you got your fish scale, but that one's not being sold here. Then you got your lump, or bram, which is the rice husk ground down into a flour. It's used for pig feed, but anglers use it to stiffen up mixes and also bulbs out the feed. And then you got some selection of Thai sort of paste floats. These are very sensitive. My dad's took these back to England and done quite well with them on the paste for the carp. Tiny adapter doing it. Good vibe. Ready to go? And like I say, you got your bits and pieces, your Thai style feeders, hooks, swivels, stoppers, some braid down there. Just bits and pieces handy. This is a shop that's on the way to Mapachan Reservoir, so very often lads will just pick up a couple of bits on the way, and that'll be the vibe. Today we're gonna have a go at filling it in a bit, and so we're gonna pick ourselves up several bags of ground bait. I think it's about half a kilo in these. So if you want to stick 10 kilos of bait in, you're gonna buy 20 bags, which will work out at around 400 baht, 10 quid, English translation. And oh, let's have a go. Let's pick up a load. There we are, GM Fishing Park, just out on the outskirts of Pattaya, maybe about 30 minutes away. Just arrived. Have a little look at that, pan around Dangerous Dam and have a little look.
I've never been in the movies before.
So this is the right hand lake, beautiful lovely restaurant here, really nice Thai food, really nice landscape gardens, beautiful place. It's right in the country, very quiet. So
basically this is there's 3 lakes here. This is the first one. This is what the locals will often fish. This is full of tilapia or blanin, Java barb, batapian. There's some sort of koi carp and common carp and a few striped catfish or basawai in this lake. So very often fish get caught and taken home to eat here, which is very common in Thailand, and something you've got to get used to because it's unusual for us. And the other lake is a specimen lake. You've got a narrow spit of land which splits them. You can actually, if you wanted, fish a rod in each lake if you wanted. Sit in the middle and fish, well, two rods out on alarms and then fish in the tilapia lake.
Right. It's
basically 40 baht per rod, so it's only £1 a rod. So fishing 3 rods, it's only going to cost you 3 quid. And the specimen lake is not heavily stocked, but there is some great fish in there. There's Siamese up to £50–60, black shark minnow, there's Julian's carp, there's mad barb, there's marigold carp, Esoc or rohu, and there's other smaller fish as well, like tilapia.
got some predators as well.
Striped catfish, some Mekong catfish, some Chonburi catfish, some nice redtails in here, which are a little bit tricky to fish for because they've sort of banned the use of meat baits. but there are some nice red tails in there, up to sort of £40 I would have said. We haven't really cracked it yet, but we're going to keep trying, and for £1 a rod you can come back quite regularly and give it a go.
Yeah.
Like Dan was saying, hell of a setting, great food, and great facilities. The toilets are immense. I know that sounds a bit weird, but sometimes a Thai toilet at a Thai fishing park can be a bit of an experience, but this one is absolutely pristine, which Mum will love. Fella here is just on the whip, he's just hooked a fish.
Yeah.
And he's playing what will probably be a tilapia. He's well set up with his Chinglu. And
what's Chinglu?
This Chinglu is the Thai name, or possibly the Japanese name, for whip fishing.
Yeah, it looks very much like an English style commercial in some ways.
Yeah, it does. It could be awesome. I would love to have this lake and give it a crack, but it's probably never going to happen. Peaceful, quiet. You can't hear the road, even though we've just come off the main road. Travelled for about 30 minutes from the centre of Pattaya, you would do. And it's very peaceful, very quiet. Grass banks. The water level is down at the moment because we're in the height of the dry season. But a very, very pleasant way to spend the day. Let's have a go. This is in front of the restaurant area here. You've got a poster here, which is quite novel for the Thai fishing parks. Basically, because they've got some quite expensive fish in there, you don't want to go home. This tells you which fish you can take home, which is the snakehead, the rohu, the tilapia, the walking catfish, the gourami, that looks like a carp, a common carp, featherback, the sand goby, a pacu, and a silver barb or Java barb. So it's all the other fish that you catch have got to go back, which is a great idea, as long as it's adhered to, and gives the bigger fish and the more expensive fish a chance to grow nice and big, so we can catch them hopefully. Little area there for some ground bait and bits and pieces. I always grab a bit of ground bait in the tack shop before I come, because sometimes they haven't quite got enough for me. The essentials, you've got the beer, the fridge with the big beers, so that one is definitely an essential. Soft drinks, a bit of ice cream and some snacks. But the restaurant here is superb. You've got a lovely area here where you sit out on some concrete tables and chairs on the grass, and it's lovely. We'll have a little break probably at 2 or 3 o'clock this afternoon. Come up and have a bit of a kapow lad cow kai down my souk. Superb. Yep. Just watching some small tilapia feeding here in the margins. Alive with fish, loads of fry, loads of small sort of, I think what they call mosquito fish or small guppies. Water level's a little bit down, a couple of foot down as I said. You can see under that tree over there, there's quite a distance. We are at the bottom end of the lake, just past where the little river connects the two. This one is almost dry now. Very often you'll hook redtails, they'll come down the bank and charge in through here and break you off, which is understandable given that you've got a couple of posts and the legs of the bridge. That's it's almost dry. We haven't had this dry since about 2005, so it's understandable. We need some rain. Coming over the bridge. It's got a nice little unhooking mat here. It's basically a yoga mat. Danny Marion's idea. It's nice and light. Doesn't hold any water and perfect really for on the move. Something that is worth thinking about when you come to JM is bringing a reasonable landing net, because the ones provided, especially if you're on your own, are very heavy and don't do the fish a lot of good. These nylon knotted nets tend to wreck the fins and whip scales off. So it's always worth bringing a landing net. We've got a couple of pan nets as well for the smaller fish. Always worth having them available. So we're just about to mix up the ground mate. Basically what we bought in the tackle shop earlier, bag of lump, a few bags of bread. This is half a mix, so basically we bought 20 bags, so we're going to do 10 bags and a bag and a half of lump. Get the flavours. There's the flavours. So you've got a bit of molasses in there. I think the Siamese love that. Anything that's sweet, really. Go to the bakery shops in Pattaya. There's a buttermilk. There's a buttermilk. 2 different types of buttermilk. I've actually got the milk flavour, but we left it in the car, so it's going to have to stay out today. Mixing the ground bait. I do this pretty much the same every time. I like my flavours. It might be just for my confidence or to hide the smell of my hands, but I think that sweet smells, molasses, very cheap here. You can buy a litre and a half for about 50 baht. I think it's a very good one. The Siamese Carp love it. I've got some lake water in there. Just stick a bit of molasses in there. Don't have to go mental, it's a very strong flavour. Then from the bakery wholesale shops, bit of buttermilk there, whack a bit of that in. There's no exact science, just whack it in and see what happens really. Bit more buttermilk, that's a different site, different one. That one's finished, so we'll give that one a clean out. And then get your hands in there, because the molasses sinks to the bottom. Get your hands in there and just give it a good stir, and you've got a lovely sweet soup to mix in with your ground bait. Got a little bit of lum in the bottom of there, that's half a bag of lum. We're basically mixing up half of what we've got. This is a tray you could buy in any bric-a-brac shop in Thailand. I use it as a bit of a riddle, so just whack that in there and then work it through that. Make sure you get a nice fine even mix, and some of the lumps that are in the ground bait that have stuck together in the bag are then gone, so you can just push them through. Right, all the ground bait gone through the riddle now. You end up with a lovely fine mix with no lumps in. Hopefully more attractive to the fish when it goes down. A lot of fish filter feeders in Thailand, so they just want to be sifting through small particles. We're going to be fishing a lot smaller today with small bits of bread punch on a fairly short hook length with a method style feeder or a Thai feeder. Once you've done that, get your flavour that you mixed up. I like to actually mix it as I go down through. It's not everybody's cup of tea, but I like to just get some on there and then mix the top 2 or 3 inches. We're going to be balling a fair bit in to start with, so might mix a little bit more than usual. You don't want it too wet that it hangs onto the feeder and doesn't break up, and you don't want it too dry that in a water like this, which is sort of 13-15 foot deep, it's going to break off the feeder before it gets to the bottom. So you want it so it's just a nice binding sort of ground bait, and then hopefully we got a nice looking mix for the fish. What we'll do, we'll just put a few balls in now. So make a few balls up. These will actually hit the water and float, but because there's no movement on the water, it should go down where we want it. If you want it to go down faster, we could mix in some stones or some chippings in with it to help it go down a bit faster. So we're going to pick our spot, pick somewhere on the far bank. You've got several trees here, so Dad, if you want to come and watch where I'm chucking this in as well. Middle tree, I think we'll go. All gone in.
Get me on that, Dan. Are you having a good time over here? It's lovely, isn't it?
We'll bang another 4 in. A little bit further out.
Sweet. We've been here a month. So we're taking May a month. Oh, really? Yeah. We're coming with Redtail.
Give that a go at the start. See if we get any blows on it. Fish a waggler rod each, and then have a bottom rod out on that bed of feed, and let's vibe. First fish of the day at JM, a lovely, what looks like a ballan wrasse if you would catch it in the sea in England. Looks a bit like a tilapia, but with these spikes on the top, I think it's some sort of jungle perch, or
What's the leaf one? The leaf something?
we'll have to actually look this one up. It's a fish that I'm not that familiar with. I have caught smaller ones,
A bit closer to the camera.
but beautiful looking fish.
Yeah, I've caught one.
Looks like a sea fish, really. It's beautiful. First fish of the day.
Nice one.
We're off the mark.
Lovely.
Great vibes.
Superb. It's a healthy looking fish, isn't it?
I'm gonna go!
Lovely.
Very good condition.
Yeah, it's very good condition, mate. Lovely Nick.
Got some, babe?
What do you reckon?
He's £24.
£24?
Lovely.
Quite yellow sort of coloration. So it's really
Yellow means they're not shedding their skin as fast as they should be. They call them banana catfish in the wild because they are very often yellow. They're shedding their skins regular. That means they stay white.
Yes. Lovely.
Couple of
Mind your way,
photos.
mate.
Couple of grunts. Lovely.
Brilliant.
Superb. Lovely. Well
Nice
done.
one.
Get out.
It's half time break at JM Fishing Park, and we're enjoying the food on offer here, which is fantastic. We've got all sorts here. We've got chicken and cashew nut there, the colour of that one. Absolute belter. Great restaurant. Bit of deep fried squid and some old English French fries. Stir fried mixed vegetables there. Not much left on this plate. That's dangerous dance. A couple of beers and a cracking view of the lake. Look at that, looking down through with the wind blowing up. Beautiful. Go back out now.
That bird sounds like a curlew, doesn't it?
Yeah. Does sound like an ex-estuary bird, doesn't it? Yeah.
Right.
This is where they come off, isn't it? Yeah. Sometimes.
That was earlier.
I can remember yes. Playing that for me.
Well done.
Well done, John.
Well done, mate. Nice one.
Nice fish.
I'll get in there.
Well done, John.
Cheers.
Grab the scales.
Didn't expect that.
Don't let them go.
No.
No. Good to let it now.
How big do you reckon?
I reckon it's about £40.
Good condition, isn't it? Beautiful fish.
That's the first time that's been caught.
They're not caught often, I don't think. People fishing in this lake probably aren't fishing with gear that could land them very often. What should we do? Do the photo first, and then we'll weigh it. I'll collapse the net and then weigh it. That'd be the best bit.
Get one.
Lovely fish, mate. About £40.
Cracking Siamese, around 40. Yeah, we'll give them away in a sec.
Yeah.
Lovely, that is. Hardly been caught.
Yeah.
Do you think
Beautiful.
your father
Beautiful.
was smaller? That's just how much been caught.
The scales there, mate.
It floats so it's down with the handle.
Yeah, it's waterproof as well, so if I drop it, it'd be alright. What are we guessing then? Anyone?
38.
38?
Yeah, I think.
I'll weigh the scales in a sec. I've got to get high enough, haven't
45.
I? It's about 45.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna say 40.
$44
44.
with the net.
44 with a net.
Honestly, Brimstone Range, where we going on Tuesday.
Oh yeah, of course. That's a baby, that.
Beautiful fish,
Lovely,
mate.
innit? That red fin there.
Yeah.
This one will look, John.
Think about that.
Yeah. Oh, it's lovely, John. Its fins are purred. That's not been caught this one. Did it ever
You don't come out much.
scale perfect, really, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Well done, that man.
Lovely. That was a lucky one.
2 seconds. Okay. £44 the net, so we've just got to weigh the net and
I reckon
See what it
somewhere
is.
around 42, isn't he?
Yeah, lovely.
Not bad.
You won't get a better looking conditioned fish than that. And off we go. Fantastic. Well done, sir.
I thought you said do the bait.
No, once you wound, you engaged it.
David with a fish caught up in the water on the ball.
Mekong.
It's just little Mekong.
Dad's just had a little Mekong there, and a lovely little fella, miniature 100-pounder. Tell the difference between a Mekong and a swai. Generally the top fin stands up like that. Huge tail, eyes a lot lower on the head, and the mouth says, they go like fury.
Yes.
Lovely stuff. Fantastic.
Let Dad have a photo, Joe.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, let's have a go. Try and get him in the foreground.
You know what I'm like.
Just lift him up a little bit, Dad. Lovely. One more. Stay there. Lovely.
Lovely stuff.
Have to be a bit careful. It shouldn't look like that.
So a swai.
Could be. This is why. The old striped catfish there.
Well done there.
Just drop your rod.
Well done,
Dad,
Mr. Harvey.
Drop your rod, open the reel. There we go. We had a little Mekong just now, didn't we, that Dad had?
Yep.
Now he's got a striped catfish, so we can just show the difference between the two. Looks like the hook's come out. With a striped catfish, oh, he's a firm fish. Lovely. Thick wrist on the tail. Mouth is not as wide as the head. The eyes not as low on the head, and sort of distinctive purple stripe or difference between the belly and the top, which gives them their name. Also, they've got the barbules, which the Mekong don't have, but also known as bassa, pangasius, pangostinus, dory, Pacific dory, marketed as all sorts of fish to sell as food, but to not let people know it's these boys. The end of another cracking day fishing at JN Fishing Park. A couple of changs, the debrief, and I think everyone's had a lovely day. The fishing was tricky, as it always is here, but you can't expect much for a pounder rod. And great setting. Have a little pan around there, dangerous dam, and everybody on their best behaviour. Very unusual. You should have heard the banter before. Don't mind the cream on the side of his cheek.
I love you from the
Ollie.
And the food is so cheap and it's gorgeous.
Great atmosphere. Great vibe.
What did you have?
Cracking day.
Garlic
Keep the
and
vibes.
pepper chicken with